The Switch 2 bans drama continues. Well, kind of. In the wake of all of the bans that have occurred because of people using their MIG switch on the Nintendo Switch 2, many people have taken it upon themselves to try and return their consoles. Now, in the wake of this news, many Walmarts, Best Buys, Targets have decided to start inspecting the console prior to its return. One specific user on Reddit said they found an open-boxed, marked-down priced Switch 2 at Walmart, and naturally, once they went and purchased it, took it home, only to find out that it was indeed banned. Which I cannot think of a more demoralizing thing to happen after buying a console and being so excited for it. Now, a lot of people have been talking about what they can and can't do with their banned Switch 2s. I've been following it closely, and honestly, I've been very intrigued, very curious. So much so that I've decided to go on the hunt and say that I want a banned Switch 2. I think it would be a crap fun a ton to just tinker around with and see what you can and can't do, maybe even make a few videos about it, because from my understanding, you'd be able to play everything that you had on Switch 1 on there, as long as you're on the right firmware, and while your Switch 2 is banned, you'll be able to update onto the correct firmware. At least this is based off of what people are saying online. I haven't tested this, obviously, because I don't have one. The idea is that Nintendo still gives you access to all of the firmware updates when your Switch is banned, and that's because as the versions go on further and further, they're blocking out more and more exploits. So they want you to be on a later firmware to lessen the chances of you being able to hack the model, even if it's banned. Now, that solves the issue with the actual firmware of the console itself. As long as you are on the firmware that allows you to play the Switch 1 games, whether you are banned or not, your Switch 1 games will work, and that includes your backed up Switch 1 games that are on a MIG switch. The issue is some games do not get their updates, but users have reported being able to continue to update their games by using the local update feature from a secondary Switch 1 in order to keep their version on their Switch 2 up to date. Or I suppose from a different Switch 2 as well if it's a Switch 2 title. So for example, if Mario Kart World were to get an update and you had a non-banned Switch 2 next to a regular Switch 2, you could theoretically use that Switch 2 to update the one that's banned. That being the game that's banned. At least, again, this is what I'm seeing based off of what some users have said online. So basically, there's a scenario here where a banned Switch 2 would be able to play pretty much anything physical. So if you're somebody that's not particularly the type of person to play online, potentially, it seems like if you were to have a banned Switch 2, you could still play any game that you buy physically, and even potentially keep your games up to date if you had a secondary Switch or Switch 2 nearby. So this whole situation basically just intrigued me. I wanted to get a banned Switch because I wanted to experiment. If I already have a physical copy of Breath of the Wild, and then my friend purchased Breath of the Wild Switch 2 edition, or perhaps I rented it from Gamefly, by inserting the Switch 2 edition into the banned Switch, would that effectively download the upgrade pack onto that banned Switch? Because from my understanding, that allows you to install without internet. At least that's, again, what I'm hearing. So if an upgrade pack is installed, at that point, can you switch back to your original Breath of the Wild cartridge and then give the Switch 2 edition back to whoever you borrowed it from? Or do you need the Switch 2 edition cartridge in there at all times to make sure that you have access to the upgrade pack that you installed on the console? Because it's a pretty sizable upgrade. Actually, that's something that would be cool to test out even if you don't have a banned Switch. Can you just borrow somebody's Switch 2 edition version of a game, install the upgrade pack, and then just use your Switch 1 version of the game with that upgrade pack? Someone give it a shot. Let us know how it goes. Now, obviously, this brings me to the actual title and point of this video. I thought I was getting a Switch 2 today. I will keep this individual anonymous, but I reached out to somebody on Reddit to try to buy their banned Switch 2 off of them. I took all of the precautions I needed to take. I've done tons of sales on Reddit, so I wasn't really too concerned about getting ripped off. And in fairness, I made sure I used my credit card, which has a chargeback thing, so I'm safe. Like, I didn't really lose anything out on this. But the person that allegedly was going to sell me a Nintendo Switch 2, specifically a banned Switch 2, obviously did not. Which was kind of disappointing, because I had this whole fun idea of a series of videos about what you can and can't do with a Nintendo Switch 2 that's banned, and now I'm back in the hunt hoping to find somebody else willing to sell me their banned Switch 2. Although part of me maybe thinks this is a sign that I shouldn't be getting one, especially since I'm all about not buying the Switch 2. But in my defense, on numerous occasions I've said that I would buy one used potentially, I'm more hyper-focused about not giving a personal dollar directly to Nintendo anymore, whether it be for games or consoles. But I'm still not really interested in buying a used Switch 2, it's more about the fact that it was banned that was interesting me anyway. So yeah, if any of you got banned and you're trying to find somebody to buy your Switch 2 off of you, I'm willing to help you recuperate some of that loss so you can go buy yourself another one. I'm not going to overpay. I'm also not going to say what my price is on this video because, you know, negotiations and all that. I will say I am going to be a lot more cautious this time around if you did reach out to me, so don't be surprised if I have unreasonable demands. Ideally, it's somebody located in the States too, because that'll just make it a lot easier. I just really want to screw around with one that's banned and see what you can get away with. I actually have a banned Switch 1 that I got from somebody else a few years ago. That's where all the fun homebrew stuff comes into play. So I kind of wanted to compare and contrast the limitations between the two consoles. Honestly, if I was not so against giving money directly to Nintendo, I would have just got myself a new Switch 2, ordered a MIG Switch off of AliExpress, and baited the ban myself, just because I enjoy that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is just a friendly reminder that people will screw you over online, so make sure you're cautious. PayPal Goods and Services has usually been pretty good to me, and if you got a fancy credit card with a high annual fee, usually they're pretty good about making sure you get your money back if you get ripped off. And to the person that ripped me off because you said that you've seen my videos, so there's a chance that you're going to be watching this too, just know that I forgive you. Mainly because there's really nothing else I can do, to be honest. I'm just glad it was me you got and not somebody else, because at least I can get my money back. But yeah, aside from that, I have been teasing my return to retrospectives for a few weeks now, and I actually thought I would have something uploaded by now. But basically, I finally got my PC set up. My office has been updated. I'm mainly just waiting on a new camera so I can stop using pointless B-roll footage for most of my videos. But in the meantime, I finally have a chance to properly play games again and record some footage. Now, I've kind of been announcing to people that my retrospectives are over on my alternate channel, Nintendine Plus. Over the course of the next few days, I'm transitioning over some of my videos onto that channel. Earlier today, I actually uploaded my entirety of my Mario Sunshine playlist, but I made it into a single video. It was initially a 15-part series from back when I was doing my daily retrospectives. So I grabbed my 15 videos, threw them all into the editing software, and I rendered it into a single video. This was my first time using the new PC to make a video. Altogether, it's a video that's 3 hours long. I've been wanting to do this for a few weeks now, but I haven't had a chance to because I know that when I render, it's going to take like 12 hours on my laptop. But since I got my new setup, I'm like, you know, let's see, how long does it take to do a 3-hour video? When I clicked render, it said it was going to take 9.5 minutes. Folks, let me tell you, I damn near cried. I have spent so much time using my laptop to make videos and just being used to a 10-minute video taking half an hour to render like it was the norm. That was always the bottleneck for all of my uploads, believe it or not. But now this is going to increase my efficiency like crazy. And since my office and my desk is all set up finally, I can go back to playing games and having fun. Especially because I can get some Steam games too. But I will be wrapping up Mario Galaxy 2 first because I just need to finish that already. And I'm still leaning towards Banjo and Kazooie next. So if you're going to want to keep up with those, you're going to want to subscribe to Nintendine Plus. These should start rolling out very soon, and once they start, I probably won't stop. As far as this channel's concerned, I'm not saying that I'm not going to talk about games specifically, but it won't be like the fun retrospectives that I was doing before. It's more or less the same kind of stuff that I've been talking about, with the occasional discussion about a game specifically if there's a big announcement or something. But either way, between the two channels, I'll still be uploading something daily on at least one of them. In any case, thank you so much for listening. I will catch you on the next one.